This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea. Dear listeners, now we start English language service of Voice of Korea from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. You enjoy your mixed chorus, Song of General Kim Il-sung. listen a male chorus, song of General Kim Jong-il.
You are listening to VOK, Voice of Korea, News Now. Kim Jong-un, Chairman of the Workers' Party of Korea and Chairman of the State Affairs Commission and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, inspected the Changnam Island Defense Detachment in the western sector of the front. He was accompanied by Army General Park Jong-chun, Chief of the General Staff of the Korean People's Army, and senior officials of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. Guided by commanding officers, Kim Jong-un looked around the area of the historic site. Looking at the monument erected to tell forever the immortal exploits of the great Kim Jong-il, who had given field guidance to the island 45 years ago, he stressed the need to more formally consolidate the invincible might of the arms and resolutely defend and honor the socialist country as defined by Kim Jong-il. He looked around the headquarters of the defense detachment and different places of the island post to learn in detail about the living conditions of the soldiers and combat preparedness of the defense detachment. Going round the company barracks, he showed paternal love for the soldiers. In the education room, he said with great pleasure, "Now the soldiers are reading and studying the newspapers of the party and army every day, as the data transfer system has been established at all units and sub-units, including the island defense units and frontline units. The big problem has been solved in the political and ideological education. Now it is possible to give the soldiers political, ideological, and mental pabulum every day." Kim Jong-un was greatly satisfied to see a lot of supplies in the bin and subsidiary for the storehouses and kitchen. He looked round the greenhouse built in the defense detachment, acquainted himself with the vegetable production, and gave a task to encourage the greenhouse farming. He kindly said it would be good to plant many fruit trees of different kinds in the defense detachment and provide the soldiers with a lot of fruits according to seasons. He also familiarized himself with the situation of the school and kindergarten of the Allied Defense Detachment with a deep interest in the education of the children of officers. Looking round the artillery emplacement of the coast battery of the Allied Defense Detachment, he met soldiers on their front guard duty. He mounted the observation post, heard a report on the deployment of the subunits of the Allied Defense Detachment and their combat missions, and gave the Chief of the General Staff tasks on reinforcement of fighting efficiency of the detachment and combat duty to be changed. He set a target for the second cannon of the coast battery on duty and ordered to fire at it. The soldiers of the coast battery fully displayed the marksmanship they had trained at ordinary times, giving great pleasure to him. He said the units and subunits at all levels of the People's Army should establish a well-organized system of technically maintaining and managing the arms and equipment with responsibility, and regularly examining and taking measures for their constant readiness, and fully prepare themselves to carry out combat tasks at any moment. Kim Jong-un gave a pair of binoculars, automatic rifle, and machine gun to the Allied Defense Detachment as souvenirs, expressing deep trust in and great expectation for it, and had a photo taken with the service persons and their families. Kim Jong-un, Chairman of the Workers' Party of Korea and Chairman of the State Affairs Commission and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, inspected the Women's Company under Unit 5492 of the Korean People's Army. He was accompanied by Army General Park Jong-chun, Chief of the General Staff of the Korean People's Army, and senior officials of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. He expressed great satisfaction to see the soldiers of the company discharging their front guard duty with a high vigilance, though he dropped in on them without notice and appreciated their efforts. Saying that he got well acquainted with the commander of the women's company on the road of training, and that he remembered her as she had made an impressive speech at the 5th meeting of company commanders and political instructors, he kindly asked her about her health and family life. Guided by the company commander and political instructor, he looked round the monument to feel the guidance of the great Kim Jong-il. Going round different places of the company, Kim Jong-un acquainted himself in detail with the military service of the women soldiers. In the education room, he learned about the use of education means and means of cultural recreation, and was pleased to see the women soldiers, not knowing any inconvenience in the cozy and fine barracks, mess hall, and washcom bath house. Seeing that the company is a model in all aspects of barracks keeping, livelihood including stock breeding, fishery and sideline farming, and combat readiness, he highly estimated the proud achievements made by the women soldiers in the past through the leadership of the party. He enjoyed the performance of the art circle and sports games of the company, raising the militant morale of the women soldiers. He told the company commander and political instructor that they can continuously defend and glorify the honor of Khabarovsk company given by the party only when they train harder and harder, and instructed them to keep strengthening theirs as the company of accurate gunners hitting any target. Expressing the firm belief that all the women soldiers of the company would become women revolutionaries and true daughters of the party, thoroughly armed with its revolutionary spirit, Kim Jong-un gave them a pair of binoculars and automatic rifle as souvenirs and posed for a photograph with them. Choche Korea, led by the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un, is praised by the international community. The Vice General Director of the Managerial Council of Adra Industrial City of the Damascus Rural Province said that in Korea, popular policies are being invariably enforced under the wise leadership of His Excellency Kim Jong-un, and the Korean people are registering consecutive successes to the surprise of the world people under its leadership. The General Secretary of the Communist Youth of Switzerland said that modern cultural and recreation centers everywhere in Korea are not for money-making, but for giving rich knowledge and common sense to the working people, and such a fact can be found only in Socialist Korea, the land of Tsuche. The chairman of the Vietnam DPRK Friendship Association said, witnessing the reality of Korea changes beyond recognition, he keenly felt that the state invests a lot for the people's living. The head of the delegation of the Singaporean Council of Women Organizations stressed that the visit to the DPRK was a good occasion to learn after its experience, and she came to know clearly that the Western media is engaged in false propaganda against Korea. National Exhibition of Scientific Successes in the Field of Public Health 2019 was opened. Present at the inaugural ceremony held at the Scientific Complex in Pyongyang on the 25th were Park Tae-sung, Vice Chairman of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, officials concerned, officials of the exhibiting units, scientists, technicians, teachers, researchers, 3 revolution team members, postgraduate students, and university students. An inaugural address was made by Ri Chung-gil, Chairman of the State Commission of Science and Technology. On display were more than 2,500 medical scientific research findings presented by over 240 units in the field of public health and other related fields. Scientific presentation and exchange of intellectual goods will be also held during the period of the exhibition, to be held until 29th. Construction of medium and small-sized power stations are actively promoted in Jagang province of Korea. The Chunggang-Jungsang Power Station with big capacity has been built at a physiographically favorable place in Chunggang County, and the production is normalized. Assembling of generating equipment for Dongsin Power Station No. 3 has been completed, and manufacturing and installing of floodgates are being simultaneously pushed ahead in Dongsin County. Work for building medium and small-sized power stations with utility and their normal operation is being forcefully conducted in the cities and counties of the province. Construction of a Hongsu Youth Power Station No. 4 is promoted at the final stage. The province is concentrating efforts to the construction to build over 10 power stations, including Hongsu Youth Power Station No. 5. New products are actively developed in Korea. This year alone, the Pyongyang Electric Cable Factory 326 has set up a scientific and technical development plan in realistic ways and actively conducted scientific dissemination work and introduced 510 technical innovation proposals to develop new products and increase the output. The Pyongyang Sports Goods Factory has developed and produced over 20 kinds of new products, including mobile backstop and net post and punch ball and sporting uniform. The Synod of Disabled Soldiers Knitting Mill has made active contribution to the promotion of people's living this year alone by developing more than 100 kinds of new products, including different kinds of knitwear, by closely combining science and technology with production. Medical workers in the capital and provinces actively conducted intensive field medical service activities. The Pyongyang University of Medicine Hospital gave medical checkup and treatment at the Pyongyang Thermal Power Complex, the Pyongyang Maternity Hospital, the Korean Medicine General Hospital, and the Ministry of Public Health Skin Disease Preventive Center at the Kim Jong-suk Pyongyang Textile Mill and the Kim Jong-suk Pyongyang Silk Mill, the Kim Man-yu Hospital, the Ryugyong Ophthalmic General Hospital, and the Pyongyang Ophthalmic Hospital at the Suncheon Area Youth Coal Mining Complex. And at medical workers at different levels of hospitals in the capital city set up field clinics in Samjeon County, the construction site of the Wonsan-Galma coastal tourist area, and other places, and actively conducted field medical service activities. Medical workers of people's hospitals in the provinces, cities, and counties also conducted positive medical service activities at construction sites and many other industrial establishments and farms. National heritages are actively protected in North Hwanghae province of Korea. Taiwan City repainted 900 square meters of Nammun Pavilion, and the Seoul County painted well the national inheritances to their original features. Pyeongsan and Yongsan counties repaired and resumed the areas of the forts on Mount Taebaek and Mount Sangje to fully represent the then architectural skill. More than 170 relics and facilities, including the Songbul Temple and the temples on Mount Songbam, were repaired. And that's the end of the news read by Kim Hyun-ok. This is Voice of Korea.
Now here's a female seller in Pangchang, World of Humane Affection.
어쩌면 그리도 친근하실까
a terrapin farm. A terrapin farm is in Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The Pyongyang terrapin farm is associated with a warm love of the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un for the people. Kim Jong-un paid deep attention to the management of the farm, true to the instructions of the great Kim Jong-il, who said it was his wish to provide the people with terrapins. He visited the farm in May 104 or 2015, learned about its production in detail, and presented the high goal of modernization. He called at the farm again next July and said with great pleasure that it was changed beyond recognition in a year, and another wealth has been provided to contribute to the improvement of the people's diet. He said it is necessary to normalize production on a high level since the Pyongyang terrapin farm has been rebuilt on a modern basis, and stressed the need to carry out the terrapin production plan without fail every year. And he put forward tasks facing the farm, including the issues on increasing the number of terrapins and securing and breeding good breed terrapins, and on taking thorough measures to supply feed properly and paying deep concern to the anti-epidemic work. He warmly said, "Seeing the factory wonderfully built, I feel easy and pleasant. I'm excited to think that I'm making revolution for such pleasure, though difficult." The workers of the farm are still making positive efforts to produce a larger quantity of terrapins, keeping his love in their hearts.
You've been listening to an account under the title, Love Shown to a Terrapin Farm. This is Voice of Korea.
You enjoy your light music for guitar and violin. We cannot live apart from his embrace.
Please listen to the song. Always near him. I will breathe with his warm breath. Even though I go a long way, I will live true to his will. My burning loyalty to Marshal Kim Jong-un will never change. Even though I am away from him, I will always live near him.
enjoy a trumpet trio. We will be loyal down through generations.
This time we present the song. I will keep the obligation of a soldier, created in 1973 or 1984.
enjoy your light music, we pledge to dedicate our life.
Now here's a female chorus, A Road of March. Dear listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Europe between 15 and 16 hours UTC, between 18 and 19 hours UTC, between 21 and 22 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 7,570 kHz and 12,015 kHz. For North America, between 15 and 16 hours UTC and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 9,435 kHz and 11,710 kHz. And for Northeast Asia, between 4 and 5 hours UTC and between 6 and 7 hours UTC on 7,220 kHz, 9,445 kHz, and 9,730 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.